Om Shanti. So, when Baba talks to us, he is positioning us in a certain way. Yes, he's looking at me in a certain way. And if I don't position myself the way Baba is seeing me, probably I will miss what he's giving me. Okay? So, Baba sees me as that one who is going to transform the world. And if I see myself as that one who is not able to keep, yes, the immediate family or the body or the work together, then I'll not be able to connect with Baba's Murli. Baba is reminding me of my power. Baba sees me as very capable, and that I am. But I have forgotten it in this body conscious existence. Now, when Baba is looking at me and talking to me as that powerful one, I also need to position myself just like how Baba sees me. So, do you think about yourself as the one who Baba entrusts with this task of world transformation? Or do you think about yourself as somebody who has come to Baba for help to sort their life? Yes. How many of you think yourself as you agree to be Baba's soldier in this task of world transformation? Please raise your hand. Yes. Do you? And what about others? Yes, we want Baba to solve our problems. We don't want to get into world problems now, is it? Now, do you understand that we are so connected as a whole world that until and unless we take care of the whole universe, we are not going to be in a better place in our individual lives anymore. It has come to that. So we need to understand that somebody has to take up the responsibility of changing the vibrations of the whole world and creating a new world. And only when we do that can we have a better life. It's not possible that we choose a better life for ourselves while everything around us is falling apart. That's not possible anymore. It's not about morality or anything. It's just not possible anymore because we are so connected. So, Baba is giving us very profound spiritual laws. He's giving us insights into spiritual laws, and he's telling us what do we need to do so that there is this world transformation. What do I need to do as an individual for this whole thing to change, the whole vibration of the world to change from Kalyug to Satyug? And in today's Murli, Baba is talking about desire. And Baba says, stop having any desires that normally people in and around you have. So you don't have to have the desires that other people around you have. Yes. And what are the desires that you have? Do you have any desires? Yes, everybody has desires, right? So we are all we have many desires, and those are the desires which are very commonplace. Like we think, okay, it is normal to have at least this much of desire. So we desire probably a healthy body, or we desire that we should have good relationships, or we desire that we should always have enough wealth or more than enough wealth. And then people desire to get married, and they desire for children, and there are so many desires. And then people desire to have a long life. So Baba says that stop having any of these desires. Now, why should we stop having desires? So Baba has explained today, and there is a very interesting way it is put in Baba's language sometimes. It's in Hindi. I'll tell it in Hindi and then I'll explain in English. इच्छा अच्छा नहीं बनने देती, और जब हम अच्छे बन जाते हैं तो हमारी इच्छाएं पूरी होती हैं. So if you are under the sway of desire, then you fail to become good. So goodness doesn't come to you. And when you become good, that is, you become the best version of yourself, then you move to that world, to that golden age, where there is no unfulfilled desire. Okay? Now, let's understand this whole thing about desire. So, when I came to Gyan, I knew that the only kind of desires that give you sorrow are unfulfilled ones. Yes? So, you don't like it when your desires are not fulfilled. But what I understood after coming to Gyan and after seeing the lives of so many souls very up close is that even fulfilled desires give you a lot of sorrow. Yes, so I'll tell you two instances. There was this friend, and she always wanted to marry this certain person, and then there was a lot of hindrance from family and friends, and so much was going on. And then she really fought and strived, and she got married. And then it turned out that after that she wasn't happy, and she cursed the day her desire got fulfilled. For maybe now she's been cursing it for 10 years. So it's not necessary that only the desires that are not fulfilled are giving us sorrow. The desires that are fulfilled are also giving us a lot of sorrow. And then there was this brother, and he wanted a child very badly, and he had not had a child for 6 years of marriage, and he always said, I want a child. And then he had a child, and that child, after he was born, after 2-3 years, they realized that the child was autistic. And then now they are very unhappy about the child, not for the child, not because of the child, but they are unhappy because because they have expectations again, that the child should be a normal child. I don't know what that whatever means because the child is normal in his own way, but then There are expectations of normality which I don't understand sometimes, and then they are again sorrowful. So it's not necessary that only unfulfilled desires are giving you sorrow. Even fulfilled desires are giving you a lot of sorrow these days. And Baba says that the nature of the world today is that everything around you is tamo pradhan. It's vicious, souls, things, positions, power, everything is vicious. So you desire for anything with the idea that it's going to make you happy, not necessarily. It may add to your sorrow. And then this is one thing about desire, that even if you get what you want, you don't know how it's going to turn out to be. So why don't you just love what you have? Instead of striving for what you want, why don't you just love what you have? Because you know what you have is okay, it's not perfect, but at least you know what it's like. But then you don't know how what you want, when it comes, what it would turn out to be. This is one thing about desire that I have arrived at by thinking about and observing how desires are coming up and how desires are, this whole journey about desire is unfolding. And there is another thing. When you are under the sway of a desire, one is you take sorrow, and another thing is you also commit a lot of sin in the quest to fulfill your desire. Yes, so because the desire blinds you, you cannot see what you're doing to get what you desire sometimes. And we have heard this story in the Ramayana that Sita had a desire for this golden deer. And then she got so blinded by her desire that she sent that Ram, for whom she left the kingdom, go and fetch that deer for me. And then she also didn't listen to Lakshman, who had always been, her well-wisher. She didn't listen to him also and sent him also after that object of desire. So sometimes, desire makes us forget Ram and Lakshman. And just like we have discussed earlier, that the scriptures in mythology are symbolic. So Ram stands for God, and Lakshman stands for the lakshya that the man has been given, that is, the boundaries that Baba has set for us about what are the thoughts, what are the feelings, what is the kind of attitude that is allowed to us. So Baba sees us as the ones who are going to create a pure world. But under the sway of desires, we forget. We forget Baba. We forget what our aim is. Lakshman means the aim that the mind has been given, lakshya of the man. So we have been given the aim to become pure and create a pure world. But then we forget that aim and we forget Baba because we are under the sway of desires. Now let's take a very simple example. You're working in an office and there is a position you desire in that office. And then there is somebody who is doing something which you think can jeopardize your position. Then what kind of thoughts do you create for them? Or what kind of actions do you indulge in to stop them or ensure your position? Sometimes when you check them against Srimad, then you will know that that is not what Baba is teaching you. But you are under the sway of desire and you do that. You think the thoughts of jealousy, you think instead of becoming better, you choose to be bitter. Sometimes you also indulge in action which can malign their reputation, or you do something, you spread a word of criticism, you do stuff which Baba doesn't approve of. And at that time you forget the aim that you soul have. You, the soul, have an aim, but then worldly desires can very conveniently make you forget that. You will forget Baba, you will forget your spiritual aim, you will forget what path you are on, and you will just be worried about that desire. Now, let's say you desire somebody's attention, a human being's attention, and they are not giving you. I don't use this word love anymore because I have understood that in the dealings of human beings, there is no love these days. It's all about lust and attention and appreciation and other stuff. So if you are going crazy after somebody's attention and then they are not willing to give that to you, then sometimes you go to very dirty lengths. Just look at how you're behaving. Just look at the thoughts you're creating. It's just below your dignity as a soul, as a creation, as somebody Baba is looking up to. But you do that anyway because you are under that sway of desire for their attention. So Baba today says that then there are desires like having a child or getting married, which are connected to lust directly. And Baba says, you are on the path of purity. And then if you have these desires, then lust is the only way in this Kali Yugi world. So again, you are inviting the same thing that you are trying to rise over. So look at this nature of desire, that first thing, even if it's fulfilled, you don't know what it's going to look like. Second thing, in this quest for desire, you are creating so much of sorrow and so much of sin. And then where is that whole target of becoming good? So Baba says, you are on this path. It's not by accident, or it's not because you have free time that you're sitting here. You're all very busy people in your lives. And then you're taking out the time to listen to Baba, to his Murli, to his class. So obviously that means you intend to become pure and create a pure world. But then all that is thrown away when you are under the sway of desire. So Baba says, this is what desire does. And then the third thing is, when you are under the sway of desire, then all your energy is directed towards getting that what you want. And sometimes you neglect a lot of other things because of that. And then the balance is lost. Yes, so if you're very so sometimes you desire to finish a task. You're just so focused on it that somebody disturbs you and you speak rudely to them. And then later on, you realize that you just lost a friend because you were so busy looking at what you want. So, desire makes you lose your balance. And happiness comes from a balanced life. When your body, mind, wealth, relationships, everything is in balance, only then can you have happiness. And the soul has to be in a position, an internal position of being free from desire to be able to balance all these four aspects of life. These days, people have a desire for health so badly that they are not able to engage with their full heart and full mind, either with their work or with their relationships. They're so afraid of dying and they are so afraid of disease that even when you are talking to somebody from a distance, you're observing all the rules, still your heart is not open, your heart is closed. Because that desire of health is not able to, spiritually, you are not in that position, you are not in that internal attitude which can allow you to engage in loveful relationships. So when the soul is under the sway of desires, then, just like in a seesaw, or a merry-go-round, it's very important that the pivot is in the center, the pivotal position is intact. So the pivotal position for the soul is a desireless state. So when you are not under the sway of desire, you are not speaking the language, I want this badly, or I want this, then you will be able to look at everything. You will be able to look at people as people, work as work, not as something that you can't live without, but just for who they are and what it is. And then you'll be able to take the decisions that give you a balanced life. So this is how desire blinds us in so many ways. And then also, with desire comes fear. So one moment you say, I want this, and the second moment, just the next moment, what do you say? What if? What if I don't get it? So as soon as you say, I want, the next moment, the next thought is, what if? And then there is fear. And what does fear do? Fear is self-sabotaging in nature. So when you have fear, then you are creating an image of not getting what you want. And then that makes the possibility of that object or person of desire not coming to you even more probable. So Baba is talking about desire today, and Baba says, do not have any desire in this world, because A, you might get what you want and then you might not like it. And B, even if you get what you want, it won't stay, because everything is going to go away. So why run after things that are not going to be permanent? So it's all subject to change. So Baba says, understand that this whole world is disintegrating and there is a force of destruction. So just get rid of this thing called desire and instead focus on karma. But when you do karma, you need to have an aim, like you want something out of that karma. Correct? At the end of the day, you want to evaluate yourself on something. Whether you had a successful day or not needs evaluation. Yes? So Baba says, how do you do that? So instead of having worldly desires, have the desire to become pure and take what Baba is giving you. So Baba tells us that if we remember Baba, if we become pure, and if we do as he says, then we will be taking the full inheritance from him. The full inheritance means you become a king in the golden age, where everything is available, everything that you can think of, everything that you can't think of, everything is available and attainable. So Baba says, what you focus on while working through the day is how much could you stay in remembrance, and whether your thought, word, and actions were pure while you were doing your work through the day. Okay? So Baba says this is how you evaluate your success of the day. Earlier you used to work because, again, for any desire you need to work. But you were doing that work with that thought that, am I getting closer to my object of desire or not? Now your object of desire is going and becoming a king in the golden age. And for that, all through the day you evaluate whether while I worked, while I interacted, was my mind, words, and actions pure? And the second thing is, was I in remembrance of Baba? This is how you evaluate your success of the day. Does that make sense to you? Yes. So this is how you evaluate. And then if you look at it properly, then if you are working diligently with the right energy, with purity in your heart and mind, and with the remembrance of Baba, then you will get the maximum result of your work. Because your work is good and your energy is also good. So the result is going to be good. And from my experience, I know that even in Sangam Yuga, you will get the best. Whether you have the discernment to appreciate it or not, I don't know. But the discernment comes later. But you will always get the best if you work in this manner. Sometimes, we get the best, but we don't appreciate it because we don't understand what is best. But if you're working in this way, then then health, wealth, happiness, everything will be there for you. So this is something that Baba talks about desire today. And then today Baba says something very interesting. Baba says, if you remember the Father, you will never weep or wail. Do you weep and wail? This cry of distress, whether it's in the mind or physically, you are crying and shouting and complaining and expressing your disappointment and hurt. So do you weep and wail, whether it's in the mind or very, very obviously some people weep and wail? We all weep and wail, right? There's a lot of complaint and disappointment and expression of sorrow and hurt most of the time. And then what does that do to you? Sometimes you sit for hours and then you keep thinking about what you had lost and what was possible and didn't happen. And you think about your fears and so many things, and then you weep and wail inside. But then, does it bring you any closer to, what you desire? No, it's just wasting your time and energy. So Baba says this weeping and wailing is a habit, is a sanskar that we have created, and we keep doing that. And do you know that this is very dangerous? And there is this one brother, he just shared some days back that he loved somebody in his, in his 10th standard, when he was in school, and he was in his 10th standard, he loved somebody, and then he just, they couldn't be together, and then they separated ways. And then now he's 40 years of age. And all he does is keep thinking about that love of his. And then he has 2 children, and he's suffering from depression because he's thinking about that one. And then he said that, and then he wanted me to help him, but I was so shocked listening to his story. I didn't know how to help him. So I said, probably I'll talk to you some other time. And then, this whole thing about glorification of weeping and wailing is what Bollywood has given us. So, you always think about being a great lover when you keep weeping and wailing for somebody after you've lost them, for 20 years, 30 years. And look at how it looks like in real life. And do you know how all this starts? It starts with a thought. And when you don't stop it, that thought becomes a sanskar. And after a point of time, you don't know how to stop it. So never create a thought which is not doing good to you. Because if you don't stop it at the right time, it will become very difficult to stop. And what is depression? It is nothing but a thought you can't stop because you didn't stop it at the right time. So Baba says, stop this weeping and wailing, and with desire comes weeping and wailing. So Baba says that if you remember the Father, if you remember the Murli, yes, If you remember what Baba is teaching you, you will stop things at the right time. And Baba says storms of Maya do come. There is so much from the past, there are so many thoughts, there are so many feelings which come up, which are storms of Maya. They will come. But Baba says, don't worry about them. So you don't become one with your mind. Your mind is thinking those thoughts. You don't give in to your mind. Do you give in to your child's demands all the time? Sometimes your child throws tantrums and you know how to not give in to those tantrums. You do the same thing with your mind. Your mind will throw tantrums. And what you do is don't worry about them. Don't give in to them. Storms of Maya will come. This is a battle. Baba says it's a battle. And Maya will come and disturb you. If you have bad or sinful thoughts, you're just wasting your time unnecessarily. So you tell your mind, this is not going anywhere, just stop. Be very firm and just tell your mind, it's not going anywhere, just stop. And you know what I tell my mind? So today you have not got anything better to do, so you start on this one. Shut up. And it shuts up. Because if you show your mind reason, it will see it. If you show your mind, if you allow your mind to throw tantrums, it will. So Baba says, just be very firm and tell yourself, storms will pass, they will not stay here forever. So no thought has stayed forever. Yes, you had these gushing feelings of, I can't live without this person. And then now you don't even want to look at them. So there are no storms that stay forever. Your mind is a very fickle thing. So Baba says, don't take it so seriously. Even if there are some thoughts, don't worry about them. It's okay. Baba says, what you tell yourself is, I have to wake up early in the morning and remember the Father and claim my inheritance from the Father. Because all these storms usually come up when you're free and going to bed. So at that time you tell yourself, I have to get up early in the morning, remember the Father, claim my inheritance, so I better go to sleep. Have this concern inside you that you have to wake up early in the morning. The Father doesn't give you any other difficulty. Simply remember the Father and forget everyone else. Okay? Now there is a question, does that mean if I have no desire, I do not have any wishes or aims in my life? No. See, you don't have to, you don't wish something. You demand something. Yes? And how do you demand? So there is a very simple definition of demand in economics. A demand is a wish backed by the willingness and ability to pay. So you focus on the paying, you don't focus on the wish. So if you want to reach somewhere, what it takes to reach there, you focus on that, not on where you want to reach. Do you understand? You plan your day on those lines, but then during the day, you don't think about that aim. You're thinking about what you need to do during the day. Okay? And then you pay attention that while doing that, you are thinking about Baba and you are checking yourself whether your thoughts, words, and actions are pure. And whether you are crossing any line of maryada that Baba has taught you to stay within. So you do what you need to do for that aim, but while doing that, keep your spiritual aim in your focus, not that aim, because if you keep that in your focus, you will not be able to toe that line of spiritual maryada that Baba has given you. Okay, so this is how it goes. Om Shanti. Let's thank Baba for some time.